let's review Rice Krispie Treats cereal. Is this a dream? For the first time since 2020, the Holy Grail of cereals is finally going to make a comeback. But will it be the terrible new recipe that doomed its final years? Or will it be more like the fantastic original 1990s classic? Friends, it's time to eat some cereal. Happy birthday, everybody. Welcome to Cerealsly, where we take cereals seriously. My name is Alex, and I eat and review hundreds of cereals a year with episodes every single week in order to help you get the most out of your cereal experience. Today on Cerealsly is my dream episode where we're taking a look at a cereal that may be the most exciting one that I've ever reviewed on this channel. The one that I've been waiting the longest and hoping the strongest would make its glorious return, Rice Krispies Treats Cereal. Stick around to the end and I will give it a full rating out of 5 and let you know if it's worth your cereal investment. Originally launched in 1993, Rice Krispies Treats cereal took the cereal world by storm, and it certainly conquered my teenage heart, quickly becoming one of my favorite cereals of all time. When I went away to college in 1997, it was one of 6 cereals that was always on tap in my dorm cafeteria, so I ate 2 to 4 bowls for every meal. That was a lonely time, a stressful time, and this was the cereal that was there for me when I needed it most. The original recipe of this cereal was truly one of the most unique and outstanding of the time. It was basically exactly what you would expect from the title. It was almost literally broken up pieces of dried Rice Krispies treats, and its signature texture was important. Instead of just being individual Rice Krispies that tasted like Rice Krispies treats, it came in randomly sized chunks and clumps, as if they really had made a long tray of real Rice Krispies treats and then just broken it up haphazardly into the box. It was perfection. But around late 2017, mid 2018, something started to change. Suddenly, Rice Krispies Treats cereal, which was always a little less prominent than the original, started to become even harder and harder to find. That trend continued until ultimately there was a gap. It seemed like it had gone missing completely. Now, it's debated online to this day how long the original formulation was actually gone, if at all. Some stores probably had enough stock that it may have never truly left store shelves completely, but what happened next is not debatable. In the summer of 2019, it returned with a new recipe. That new recipe completely abandoned the clumps texture and the marshmallow coating that had made the original so special. In its place was basically what amounted to lightly sweetened Rice Krispies with mediocre Marbits. It was the worst reformulation of cereal in history. So it was universally panned, and rightly so. Fans felt betrayed. In fact, quickly, a petition popped up on change.org, started by one of the then kings of internet cereal fandom, Cereal Snob, which now has over 33,000 signatures demanding that Kellogg's bring back the original formulation. But in the early days of that petition, they could not have known how really poignant their request was, because after only about a year in 2020, Rice Krispies Treats cereal was abandoned completely and left shelves seemingly permanently. I think we can all agree that that was the worst thing that happened in 2020. No one really knows why it went away except Kellogg's, but we can make some guesses that are obvious. The process to make the original recipe was too unique, too expensive to bring the profit margins Kellogg's was looking for. It was so different than other cereals, they likely had to put several new and different machines on the line to even make it possible. And those new and different machines could only make a single type of cereal. That's not cost conscious. So the new recipe was an attempt to make it more standardized, but ended up being hated by pretty much everyone. The only solution, at least at that moment, was to put Rice Krispies Treats cereal out of its misery. And since the moment it went away, likely magnified by the grotesque way in which it spent its final year, Rice Krispies Treats cereal became the stuff of legend. I was not kidding when I called it the Holy Grail of cereals in the intro. No cereal has ever had the same level of legacy fandom, and the high highs and lowest of lows in its odd history makes it unlikely that any other cereal ever will. But now we've come to today, where I have in my hand the first box of Rice Krispies Treats cereal I've been able to eat in a long time. Now, just to point out, you may have noticed it as I've been saying it, it is called Rice Krispies Treats Cereals. I have never usually pronounced that S at the end of Krispies. I usually just say Rice Krispie Treats Cereal, but that's not what this really is. Let me know in the comments how, in your vernacular, you usually say it. Regardless, what we've all been waiting for has now arrived. All the waiting, all the hoping ends at this moment. Will it, could it ever live up to its self-inflicted hype? Can this cereal successfully move from being a myth to a living champion once more? I am so glad you're here with me to find out. Because in the end, I want to use all of my cereal expertise to help you decide if you need a bowl of Rice Krispies Treats cereal. Hey, if you made it this far, your kindness has not gone unnoticed. But would you do me another favor? Would you like this video and subscribe to the channel and leave a comment with what cereal we should look at together in a future episode? Doing any of those things would really help me out. All right, I think I am ready. I have got my bowl. I've got my spoon. I've got my trusty 1% milk that I like so much. And I have the ultimate cereal of the hour, my heart's joy, Rice Krispies Treats cereal. Here it is. I don't know if I can overemphasize how excited I am to open what has become my own white whale of cereals. So let's do just that and see what it looks like in a bowl. Oh. It smells perfect. Oh my goodness. Be still, my beating heart. This is exactly what I hope for. In here, there is such a variety of chunkage, such an obvious story that it is telling here. This absolutely came out of what must be real Rice Krispies Treats bars, just, I don't know, dried out more and then chunked up. Honestly, it almost looks like they went more into the chunkage just to delight fans like me, and it's working. Holy moly. It really does smell of memory. It smells of nostalgia. I remember the comfort that this cereal would bring me as I started making friends in college. Holy moly. If you have a Rice Krispies Treats cereal story about what it means to you, please share that in the comments. That would mean a lot. But the time has come, friends. After all of this waiting, it is finally time to try the taste of Rice Krispies Treats cereal once again. Let's do that. It's a miracle. This is what I have needed. This is what I have waited for. This is what this channel is about. About the feels you get when you are enjoying something that you love. What is it that you love? I'd love to hear what brings the same level of peace and connection in your life. I can tell you it is Rice Krispies Treats, but I feel like there's maybe a little more salt in it in order to help it pep as a cereal. I wonder what the air drying process is with these. That must be quite extensive because it has a very good crunch. So those are the two factors that I would say are quite different than if you just bought or made at home a regular bar by the original recipe of Rice Krispies Treats. Certainly they're softer, that makes sense, but I don't remember that those are quite as tangy as I'm remembering that these are, and it is paying off in droves. In some senses, this is a simple cereal, isn't it? There's nothing else in here. It doesn't need anything else. It is so wonderful on its own. We have got to put milk on this, see if that brings out anything new. You know, it's fun. I can still hear the snap, crackle, and pop. These are real Rice Krispies. I know, of course, they would be, but maybe that sound is part of the warmth, the familiarity that I'm feeling. All right, let's give a try to Rice Krispies Treats cereal in milk. How did they do it? How did they get what tastes like real marshmallow, gooey enough to coat these things in their entirety and yet keep it so crisp, so crispies in milk? It's got to be real marshmallow, right? Yeah, the second ingredient, marshmallow. Wow. This is at the same time a brilliant innovation and the most obvious cereal in the world. They are experts at creating Rice Krispies treats. Drying them out, breaking them up, and putting them in a bowl is just the next logical step. May this last forever. One added benefit is that it's holding up better than regular Rice Krispies would in milk, likely because of the marshmallow coating and the fact that some Rice Krispies are trapped on the inside of these chunks. It's really staying crunchy. It's really staying enjoyable. I gotta give it one final bite. Well, friends, this has never happened before. I loved this cereal so much, I ate the whole bowl. I think even when I've given another cereal a top rating, I have eaten maximum 5-6 bites and then let it be. I don't know if it's my own fear that I'll never have this again, but I just downed that whole thing and every moment was bliss. All that's left is to give this cereal the most obvious rating out of 5. Well, friends, we have done it all. We talked, we ate, we took every facet of taste and texture into consideration, and now it's enough. My final verdict on this box of Rice Krispie Treats cereal is, I'm sure you have guessed it, 5 out of 5. This is one of the greatest cereals ever invented. It should never have gone away. I don't think there is any more ways that I could express my love for this cereal. Now let me come clean if you have not figured it out yet. This is a dream episode of mine in the sense that it's totally not real. I hope I didn't hoodwink you too bad. That is not my intention, because if you want to try today's cereal for yourself, there's really only one way to do that, and it is to buy an empty box from the 1990s on eBay, make and then dry and then crumble your own homemade Rice Krispies treats, empty a different bag of cereal, reseal this cereal into that bag upside down, and then lightly glue the box back up. That's what I did, and it was worth every bit of effort to put this together. So I highly encourage you to do the same. 2 tips if you are going to make a box of this for yourself, both of which I mentioned as if they were real. I'm sorry about that. The first is lots of salt. I did a first batch that was fine, but it was missing a kick that I had remembered, and using salted butter in the recipe and then also adding about a teaspoon plus of salt to the marshmallow goo as it melts is really what put it over the edge. Secondly, you have to dry these things completely. Our air fryer has a dehydrate setting that I used and just left them on a relatively normal heat, whatever it recommended on the machine. I left them there for like 2 sets of 8 hours to get them dry enough. It will fool you because when they are warm, even after that 16 hours, they were still like pliable and bendable, and you'll think it hasn't worked. But if you let them cool down, they become crunchy and crispy and wonderful. Until Kellogg's finally hears the outcry, finally allows our pleas of anguish to soften its corporate heart of stone, you will have to make it yourself like I did. Now listen, I'd love to spend more cereal time together, and I promise that this is the only video where I will outright lie to you, probably. All of my other videos are almost always full of real cereals and real reviews. So forgive me, my friends. Hopefully there's no hard feelings. It was all meant in good fun, just a bit of self-indulgent but therapeutic wish fulfillment for me this week. Now, YouTube thinks you'll enjoy the episodes that are on screen right now, so check those out while you're waiting for our brand new episode of Cerealsly next week. Until then, never be soggy, my friends. Over.